Line drive left field. Gurriel is there, and that is the ball game. So it took a while at the end as the Red Sox score a run in the bottom of the ninth, but the Blue Jays with a nice win, a 9-3 win. Another great outing for Ross Stripling. Jackie Bradley Jr. has a very nice game in his return to Fenway Park, and in the end it's the combination of Stripling and of course an 8-run third inning that gets the job done.
Yeah, that's all the Blue Jays needed really was that third inning when they put together 8 runs. Some big hits in that inning. Kevin Biggio had a 2-run single. George Springer had a 3-run triple. Jackie Bradley got it all started with the double. He also walked and scored in that inning, scored 2 runs in that inning. All told, 8 hits tonight for the Blue Jays, 9 runs on 13 hits, an 8-run inning. The pitchers finish it off as they get game 1 in this big series.
So now 66-55 on the season with Jose Barrios on the mound tomorrow night. It is time now for Sportsnet Central. Here are Jesse and Ivanka. Jesse and Ivanka.
Hello, Canada. Welcome to this post-game edition of Sportsnet Central. Ivanka and Jesse here with you. It was a game that started late because of the delay, but then the Jays put it away early with that dominant third inning. And, you know, I love 3-run home runs, just like everybody else, but watching the Jays score 8 runs in an inning without a dinger was pretty satisfying.
2-out rallies are where it's at. That was really entertaining. Yeah, 5 hits, 8 runs in the third inning, and another great performance by Ross Stripling. Jays like playing at Fenway. They put up a lot of runs. Let's get more from Jamie and Joe. Guys, over to you.
Ivanka, the Blue Jays have had some disastrous road trips this year. Think of that stop in Oakland and then Seattle. But so far, 3 victories in New York and an opening series win in Boston, as you two discussed, due to the fact that they had one big inning, the third, that did not involve hitting it out of the ballpark. You love the approach, Joe. Show us.
Well, I did. Jackie Bradley Jr. got it going, but I think once that lineup turned over and all those righties saw this pitcher a second time, all he was doing was pounding away, away, and away some more. Fastballs and sliders away, and they took full advantage by going the other way. It's a great approach by Bradley Jr. going back to Fenway Park now as a visitor, got things going, but what you'll see here, Gurriel, this is critical here, is the slider away and he drives it into the right center gap. That gets the Blue Jays on the board in this inning and kept things going. This one, I thought this one knuckled off the bat of Teoscar and kind of fooled Kike Hernandez in center field. And there's Bo. Sometimes when you set up away, the pitcher misses in, and hitters will tell you that's an easier pitch to go the other way. George had hit 2 ground balls in his first 2 at-bats, so I think he tried to stay inside that baseball, get something in the air, and that's exactly what he did. A little bit of a fluke down that line, but it's a result of a very good approach. This is what good lineups do against very mediocre pitching. You beat them up, and that's exactly what they did.
8 runs scored, all coming with 2 outs. As we send it back to Fenway Park, Springer stopped by to speak with Arash Madani.
George, another game at Fenway Park, another night of scoring in bunches in a big inning. What is it about this team being able to do that here?
I mean, it's just kind of a little bit of, who we are, as a offensive core, just get the baton onto the next guy. And I just think, there were a lot of good quality at-bats in the third inning, but, there were a lot of at-bats today where, we're getting guys over, we're getting guys in. So, it's a good sign, it's a good start, so it's on to tomorrow.
Baseball has turned into, as the narrative goes, strikeout or home run, but it was like 7 or 8 extra base hits tonight without the home run. What does that say about this offense?
I mean, that's a good sign. I think, for us to just battle, for us to put the ball in play, hit the ball hard. You don't always have to hit a homer. Homers are great, homers are cool, but you don't always have to do it.
Jackie Bradley before the game said, look, I'm excited, but there's not a lot of emotion. You pushed him up the stairs. You wanted him to get his moment here. Why?
Because he deserves it. He was a World Series champion here. He's played his whole career here except for 1 year, and now obviously he's not one for stuff like that. He's a pretty quiet guy, but I hope he's able to kind of to take it in and enjoy the moment and then enjoy the win.
To add another vet like Bradley to this mix, what does that mean for the dynamic of the group?
It's huge. He's a guy that's been there before. He knows how to navigate things. He's played in a lot of playoff games and played in some big games. So to have a guy like him, is pretty hard to explain.
It's pretty hard to explain what's happened to this team in the last week, man. What has happened? What's gotten into you guys?
I just think it's the understanding of our season's on the line, and to go out and just be ourselves, and enjoy the day, but play with some urgency, but also not try to do too much.
George, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thanks to this victory, the Blue Jays are now an impressive 11-4 this year against the Boston Red Sox. Let's send you back to Fenway Park to the broadcast booth. Dan Schulman and Pat Tauber.
Jamie, thank you. Impressive is what the Blue Jays had both offensively, great at bats up and down the lineup in the third inning, Tabby, and of course on the mound from Ross Stripling as well.
Yeah, let's start with the offense side. That one inning in that third inning, they took 3 walks in that inning. Remember, there were 2 outs and they hadn't scored. It looked like they were going to leave another runner on base, but then they started having really good at bats. The Gurriel hit was huge to get the first run. Cavan Biggio had a 2-run hit and George Springer had a 3-run hit. But I love the approach that they took in that inning. And they took their walks. All told, the Blue Jays walked 5 times to go along with 13 hits. You're going to score plenty of runs that way. Pitching-wise, Ross Stripling. He did his thing again, 6 innings. He was all over the strike zone. And I think that 8-run inning really settled him down where he could just come in and just pound that strike zone, especially early in the count, and he's really just cruised through his 6 innings.
Just 1 run in the 6 innings, 1 walk in the 6 innings, and he struck out 6 as the Blue Jays have now won 5 of their last 6 and have Jose Barrios on the mound tomorrow night.
And Dan, thanks to the 6 innings of work by Stripling tonight, allowing just a single earned run, he took 9 points off his earned run average since the 1st of June. Note what he has accomplished. Consider that the Blue Jays have lost only 5 games he's started so far this year. Explain his excellence tonight against the Red Sox.
I talk so much about Ross Stripling using all 4 pitches and being unpredictable. He's the right-handed Hyun-Jin Ryu, really. But the fastball for me was the key against the Red Sox in this game. The changeup has made him a changed man. It's been a fantastic pitch. But the fastball was just getting hitters all night, and that's because you're probably thinking about that changeup. And as a hitter, when you get your changeup in your head from Ross Stripling, and then that fastball is looking about 98, but he can spin the baseball too. He'll normally use that slider against righties, but he'll also bury it down and in on lefties at times. But then you think about the changeup down, then you elevate the fastball. So there's that unpredictability again. The slider's always good against righties, but he's used the changeup a lot against righties. But I thought it was the fastball in this game against Red Sox hitters that really had them uncomfortable and unbalanced. And Ross can throw any pitch at any time. A lot of times it's the changeup that I think is the decisive pitch for him in games. I think tonight it was the fastball, but of course it plays off that changeup so well.
That it does. And now it's Jose Barrios' turn to keep the good times rolling. He'll start the second of this 3-game series tomorrow night. Join us for Blue Jays Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, as we send it back to Ivanka and Jesse.